pick honestly right now is
Who, what?
I'd say the hardest game for me to pick is Rams Bucks.
It's a really hard game to pick. The Bucks looked phenomenal against Arizona, but they were also playing Kyler Murray, and without Hopkins. I mean, they're a different team without Hopkins.
Right.
There's a lot of receivers that were having better years, but Hopkins is probably still, in my mind, the most talented wide receiver in the NFL.
I mean, he's perennial top 3 every year.
He just makes catches that, like, OBJ obviously has the one catch that everybody goes back to, but Hopkins does that year after year. Ridiculous catches. Like, what?
Right. The only thing about Hopkins, and I just know this because I've had him on my fantasy team like a couple of years, like he's very, very hot or cold. He'll either put up like 30 fantasy points or like 3, and there's no in between. Like he's not like someone who he's like a fantasy speaking, he's a better version of Tyler Lockett, because his like Lockett will get 40 points one game and then he'll get like nothing the next. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I had something I was going to say, and I just completely lost it going on that tangent. What did you say? You said Kyler Murray. You said Hopkins in top 3. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, Rams Bucks. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the Bucks. It's a home game, and even though they were playing the Eagles, and the Eagles were a glorified 9-8 team. Right? Like, all their injuries seemed insignificant, right? Like, what's his face? Like, who was running back for them? Hold on a second.
So, Loy, if you were to make zodiac sign candles, what zodiac sign would you associate with Mediterranean fig?
I mean, just because I'm a Leo, probably a Leo, right? Like,
sounds like an earth sign, she said. I mean, I don't know.
Well, no, probably, you know what? It's more of a water sign, so maybe Pisces.
I can see that, because you say Leo, and I see Leo's like lion, right? That's like the symbol,
Yeah.
like kind of like a foresty scent,
and a fire sign. So
yeah. So like, yeah, I'm getting dual recorded here as I talk about zodiac sign candles. So
nice.
This is the danger.
There'll be a Facebook post and a podcast.
Hey, I'm living that kind of life. That's where we're going.
Checks out.
What about Taurus? Like eucalyptus mint? No, they're I'm just pulling words out now. No. Anyway, back to football. So Rams Bucks. Tell me on the Bucks. Go ahead. Yeah, I think you were starting to. We had to kind of.
I mean, Tom Brady was the 3rd highest fantasy point score for the year. So, and Matthew Stafford was number 5. Matthew Stafford also had Cooper Kupp. I don't care what receivers Brady doesn't have, because he still makes players look better, right? And he still has Mike Evans, and he still has Gronkowski. The one thing I'll say about the Rams is their line, their defense has looked more formidable the last few weeks of the season, and then the first game of the playoffs, obviously, right? Like Aaron Donald getting Von Miller and getting some pressure taken off him has allowed those two. You can't double both of them. So, right. That they're kind of screwed. I think the biggest question for Tampa Bay is Wirfs, their offensive tackle, right? Like, is he going to be able to go? So, right. But they handled, the defensive line for the Eagles isn't bad. They don't have Aaron Donald, but like Fletcher Cox is probably one of the top 5 defensive linemen of all time. Aaron Donald's probably the greatest of all time, right? Arguably. Right. But Cox is not far behind, and he's a little bit older, but he's still a beast. and they handled them, at least most of the game. So I think that, it's Tampa Bay. I don't see Tom Brady losing to Matt Stafford. That's what it boils down to for me.
Well, and I think that's what makes it hard, because if there's any one quarterback still left that could come out and just completely have like a 3 interception, pick 6, 50% completion percentage game, it's Matt Stafford out of all of them, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it the hardest, but I'm going to pick against the Bucs in every round just because I don't need or want another Tom Brady Super Bowl. So I'm gonna pick the Rams based solely on that. I do think it'll be interesting because the Rams, I think, have had a more consistent defense. The Bucs have been up, the Bucs have been down on the defensive side of the ball, and I think the defense is a strong spot. And if Stafford is having a bad game, they do have a good running attack. Like, I just feel like they have more fallback options, I guess I would say. Like, if Tom Brady, not that he ever has, but if Tom Brady goes out and has a bad game, what do the Bucs do? Where if Stafford's having a bad game, they can hand it off to Austin Eckler, or their defense can make a play. Like, the Bucs aren't as even a team, so I'm just going to go with the Rams, even though they are on the road.
I mean, Vegas got Tampa 2.5, so it's not even a full home field advantage spread.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up. And Cooper Kupp was the number 1 receiver in the league, fantasy. Well, not even fantasy-wise, just in general. And Debo was number 2. So, but after that, it's not even close, right? From an average perspective per game, it's not even close. Number 3 was Jamar Chase, and he's a full 3 points behind Debo.
Right.
Average wise. Like, that's a big disparity in fantasy football. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Jamar had those last couple games that boosted his numbers quite a bit.
Right.
Cooper did it all season long, right? They're not going to be able to stop Cooper Kupp. And he doesn't look that big, but he plays big, man. Like,
right.
he plays with reckless abandon when it's I need an extra yard. He doesn't care. So, I mean, it's going to be obviously the game of the week in my mind. Like, I know it's the playoffs, but this is the one that's most intriguing because
definitely.
I think that Tampa Bay is one of 2 teams that can go into Green Bay and possibly win, right? The other one's not LA. LA's not going into Green Bay and winning. They're just not. It's too fucking cold, right?
Right.
San Fran is a dangerous team. I said that going in, weeks back, that San Fran going into the playoffs, if they get in, they are dangerous. They had an up and down first half of the season. Second half of the season, they turned it on. Things came together. Debo came out we knew he was good. We knew he was a top 12 draft pick, right? But in fantasy, but like not what he did.
Right.
No one expected him to do what he did, and he did it quietly, right? And then they decided to say, well, let's let him run out of the backfield. Since all our backs continue to get hurt, let's just run him out of the backfield. And that worked. So, I mean, if I'm Green Bay, I don't want to play San Francisco, right? At all. And, I just want to see good football. I wouldn't be upset if the Rams win. I just don't see Tom Brady losing this game. Not to say that he's going back to the Super Bowl. I just don't think this is the game.
Well, as far as the Niners-Packers game goes, so game time temperature is just going to be below 0.
Shit.
And it's going to be snowing. It's going to be snowing. So, I mean, I was thinking about it. They always make a thing about it. Like, maybe because it's the 49ers it would matter, but like, I don't know. They always say things about this, but every player, you eventually play in cold weather. It's not like Green Bay players have any more advantage in the cold weather than anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a mythos, maybe, but it's not I don't think there's any way you could actually prove that, like a warm weather team going to a cold, because they all play northern teams throughout the, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they play in domes and not in domes, like whatever. The only true advantage I think with stuff like that is when you have a dome team playing a home playoff game in a dome and they're built for a dome. Like that's a little bit different. They're faster. That's just how they are because that's how they're built. One last thing about the Rams that I want to touch on before we go full bore into the Packers Niners. Did you see OBJ got the NFL wants to test him for the juice?
What?
Yeah, apparently based on his performance the last 2 weeks, they're testing him for the juice.
It can't be that he's playing with a better quarterback. It must be the juice.
I didn't think about it. I'm just saying the NFL did. I caught my eye because I found it funny.
Well, it is kind of funny because he was hurting in Cleveland. And then there's no more talk about him being hurt.
Well, I know I did watch, I don't know if it was the first game he had for the Rams, but they were saying there was something wrong with his back. But that seems to have gone away, whatever it was. That doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. So just a little side storyline that I have personal interest in. I just find it funny. Like,
Where are you reading that?
Where did I read that? It was just something that came across my Facebook feed.
Facebook.
Let's see. NFL testing OBJ. Yeah, it's Sporting News, Rams Wire. Yeah.
Who broke the story though?
Oh, who broke it? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not on ESPN.
Oh, but then again, Rappaport reports OBJ tests positive for COVID-19. Oh, shit. Hold on. Man. So did he get drug tested for the juice and then turns out testing positive for...
Just recently?
Yeah, this is NFL. Let's see what... I don't know. There's not a date on this. It's just an NFL.com thing. It doesn't give me any kind of date as to when this is. So, but yeah. But yeah, no, he's definitely getting, it says based on his stellar performance in the Cardinals game, he's getting tested for PEDs.
Why wouldn't ESPN be reporting on that?
I mean, I'm looking at the Rams Wire, and I figure they're not going to make it up. So,
the Rams Wire isn't written by the Rams. Those are all there's the Eagles Wire, there's a Browns Wire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Bard Barker. Yeah, I don't see anything that I guess like ESPN's not reporting it, but.
Recording.
What'd you just say?
I told her to use her boot.
Boot. Okay. Did you hear boop?
I don't know what I heard.
I thought you told her to use her boob. I was like, I don't know what we're lighting, but anyway, man, this podcast is all over the place. I'm here for it. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have any like maybe ESPN won't report unless he actually like tests positive, but I don't have anything like I see it on multiple sites, but yeah, it's not like ESPN or Adam Schefter saying it.
I mean, if he was being tested for PEDs, like I'm fairly certain ESPN would report that. Like if he was actually being tested, that's kind of news. I mean, unless I'm just crazy.
Outcook. Yeah, let's see. Hold on. December. Yeah, no, I don't. The spun.com, the NFL world laughed at the league's decision. Yeah. CBS. Okay, hold on. No, that's from. Okay, never mind. Yeah, as sporting news, I mean, I don't see any I don't see anything like SI or anything like that, but I do see the sporting news is probably the most legit one I see that talks about it. But anyway, so yeah, just something to keep your eyes on. Maybe, I mean, yeah, the only thing I can think of is the NFL, like, because players get tested all the time, right? And it's not like,
Hey, give me a second.
yeah.
I should have been recording all of that.
Should have. Although I couldn't hear anything, so I don't know.
No, I mean on your end.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting podcast to try and edit.
Well, I paused recording, so I mean, you're not going to hear anything we shouldn't have heard.
No, that you won't hear, but it's gonna be like these weird jumps in what we're talking about.
Well, what we were talking about OBJ and him getting tested for steroids, and I'm calling bunk because I just don't understand why ESPN wouldn't report on that.
Well, like I said, the only thing I can think of is like a PED test during the playoffs can't be like newsworthy. I don't know. I feel like enough. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I didn't look like like I said, I saw it against my on my Facebook thing. And then I there are a bunch of places talking about it, but man, you seem real tore up about this OBJ thing. I guess
I'd like to see it. Anyway, I'm looking on Twitter because that's where news is.
That's where the real news is. All right, well, let's get back to the Niners Packers. Liesel gave me a stat while we were gone. Apparently the Packers have won 70% of their home games played in temperatures below freezing. So maybe there is something to it.
Well, not only that, it's, you were talking about like everybody's got to play in the cold, right? Well, not when you're practicing in LA. When you're practicing in LA, you're not playing in the cold. Like, yes, you need to go play in the cold, but how well do you play in the cold? You know what I mean?
Well, do you think San Francisco's in San Francisco like this, or like if for me, I'd assume they went to Green Bay to practice all week,
I assume they're both practicing inside because they don't have a coach named Bill Belichick.
That's right. True.
Bill Belichick makes his players practice outside. Like he just does dumb shit. He'll spend, half a practice, dunking balls in water just in case there's a monsoon on Sunday. Like we're going to know how to handle the ball.
I mean, it didn't seem that way last week, but
no. Buffalo practiced inside, New England practiced outside. It was the same temperature at both places, and Buffalo kicked their ass. It's home field advantage, and it's psyche, right? Is what it boils down to. Like, oh my God, this is where the frozen tundra was played, and it's negative degrees outside. This sucks. Like, how do you even dress for that? Like, I've played football. And I've played in cold weather, but not that fucking cold.
Dude, when we were there, what did I have on? I had on a base layer. I had on windbreaker pants. I had on like tundra boots, like.
So you're not going to go out and run slants to catch passes in your wardrobe.
Right. I had like a hoodie over a t-shirt, over a base layer, over my brace that I have to wear because of my medical stuff, with a jacket, with gloves, with a scarf, with a hat, hot hands, and I was still cold.
Like I heard Brady used to wear, probably still does if it's cold enough, a dry suit for scuba diving, right?
Yeah, that's actually, Matt Jones started doing that this year. Mac Jones, sorry, because I guess that's what they told him Brady would do. So
even that's got to be fucking cumbersome.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's one of the things I'll be glad I'm sitting on my couch in Florida watching it. I'm not saying.
Well, they make millions of dollars, man.
Yeah.
And I don't.
But I was going to play football in the cold. I mean, because not only are you playing in the cold, but you're getting hit by big men trying to take your head off as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I heard they put like Vaseline on their fucking skin and shit. Like, you know, like don't believe the hype that they're playing without sleeves, right? Like there is something on their skin. And how cold is it going to be?
Below freezing. I don't know an exact temperature, but it's supposed to be below freezing and snowing. Our producer's looking it up. By the way, my producer informed me while we were talking that they actually do practice outside in Green Bay.
They do.
So
I have video proof.
she has video proof, is what I've been told.
All season long?
They have the Don Hudson Center, which is their indoor practice facility. But I think especially when it comes up this time of year, like going to the playoffs and stuff, they want as much exposure in the conditions as possible. So yeah. 0 degrees.
It's supposed to be exactly 0.
Low near 0 degrees.
Which means if there's any kind of wind, it's going to be negative.
It's going to be cold. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
My face would hurt if I was outside of the game.
I mean, that's why I live in Florida. I don't want to live anywhere where the air can hurt my face.
Yes.
Now it's 15 degrees in Green Bay, but it feels like up 0.
It's cold. Is what we're getting.
Yeah.
So who do you got? You got the Packers, you got the Niners, because you're on the record of saying you think the Niners are dangerous. I don't see them winning this game, because the Packers don't traditionally bow out till the championship game.
That is true.
But
That is true.
You got a big couch?
I'm ready to be hurt again.
You got a big couch?
Big couch, yeah. No, it's sectional. It's nice.
Is it comfy? Is
Yeah.
it comfy?
It's not too bad. We got this nice big throw pillow. It's actually not too bad.
I think the Packers are going to the Super Bowl, so
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be close.
I mean, I feel like
Jimmy G's not the man. He's not gonna be able to do it.
yeah. Well, that and
Still kinda injured.
Jimmy G's kind of injured, so we don't even know if it's going to be him. And the one thing I will say is the Niners, I feel like their strengths on offense match up fairly well with the Packers' weaknesses on defense. So I think that the 49ers have one of the better run games in the league, and the Packers aren't as great against the run. If I was going to attack the Packers, that would be the way I would do it. But I just there's going to come a time when either Jimmy G or whoever's playing the 49ers quarterback has to make a play, and I just don't think they're going to do it. So I think the Packers win this one. Like I said, they don't bow out normally to the conference championships, so they're going to be at least make it that far.
All right, that's fair.
And they are like I said, I have Bengals Pack in the Super Bowl. So next up is Bills Chiefs. What's your take on this one?
It's a wild game. I think the way that the Bills looked was phenomenal. But it's in Kansas City, so that kind of sucks for them. As much as we wrote Kansas City off at the beginning of the season, man, they turned it around. Mahomes destroyed. Who were they playing last week? I don't even know the fuck they were playing. Pittsburgh. And I really thought Pittsburgh was going to at least cover the spread. It was a 12-point spread. He throttled that defense, which was their strong point. I see a high-scoring game. I think Kansas City wins.
See, I actually think the Bills pulled off the upset. I assume they're the underdog.
Just by 2.
Yeah, just by I think they pull it off. I really do. I mean, I get that the Chiefs shellacked the Steelers, but I mean, at the beginning of the season, I'm not sure a lot of people had necessarily the Steelers being there. I think the Steelers are kind of like the Eagles in their, they earn their spot. I'm not going to take it away from them, but at the same time, compared to the Bills dismantled the Patriots, and that's a team that sees them already twice a year, and they dismantled them. And say what I mean, I'm not saying that the Patriots had the best of all defenses this year, but it's a Bill Belichick coach defense, and they got rolled like hard. So much that there are rumors that the Patriots might try to get rid of Mac Jones. Like that's how complete a game the Bills played. So I think if there's a year to do it, this is the year. I think the Bill, it's going to be close. I'll go. Yeah, I'll definitely agree. I see, high 30s, low 40s for both teams, but I think the Bills defense is just good enough they're going to make a stop where the Chiefs defense can't. And it's going to be one of those types of games where the Bills are going to do just enough on defense to either, get a turnover late or stop them on a drive. And that's going to be the difference in the game.
The Bills have the number one defense in the league.
Do they really? I thought the Rams did, to be honest.
I'm reading it right now, and I don't know if they're going off points against. I don't know what metric they're using.
Right.
And the NFL predictor has the Bills winning 52% of this time. So I might change my mind.
Again, I mean, if the Chiefs did win, obviously no one's going to be surprised by that. But I just feel like the Bills are so much better on defense, and I don't think the Chiefs are that much better on offense. So I think Josh Allen's going to give them problems. I really do. And
it's the Bills, number one defense. Patriots were number two,
and the Bills put up 47 on them. So what are the Chiefs? The Chiefs aren't going to be able to stop them at all. Like that's the thing. The Bills are going to score like on 90+% of their possessions, and that puts more pressure on the Chiefs, who are going up against a much better defense. So I just think I do think even though I know we wrote them off in week 8 and they still made the playoffs, but this Chiefs team is way more vulnerable than Chiefs teams in the past. And I just think they win this, or I think the Bills win this. Again, it'll be high scoring. Like we're looking at like a 38-41 type of game, 38-42, something like that. But that's I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the Bills win. Because if you think about, like, everybody talks about Mahomes, but Josh Allen is just as dangerous.
Right.
If not more.
Because he's got a leg. Josh Allen can take off and run.
Josh Allen can run, and he can run you over. Like, he's a big country boy.
He's Big Ben 2.0 is exactly what he is.
With speed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who the Steelers need to go get.
They need to place a trade. Forget all this Aaron Rodgers talk. They need to get a trade in there. Trade him Dwayne Haskins and like a third for Josh Allen. Actually, don't do that at all. Why am I planning moves for the Steelers?
Yeah.
No matter how ludicrous they are. Anyway, so we got the Bills. So that leaves Bengals Titans. I think the Bengals win this. They do have, the Titans do have Derrick Henry cleared to play, but we don't know what he's going to give them. I just think for a team that won the AFC, by proxy being the first seed, I feel like this is I honestly think maybe aside from the 49ers, the Titans are the weakest team still in the playoffs. So, I just see the Bengals winning this one. And honestly, the only thing that gives me slight pause is I feel the Raiders got a little job in the officiating last week, and the Bengals only beat them by a touchdown. But I see the Bengals winning this game by like 5. I don't know, like maybe like a like a 24-29 type game, somewhere in there.
I think the Titans are going to win. I think that they've been undercover, disrespected, and overlooked all season long. Even when they had Derrick Henry, and now that Derrick Henry's back and he looks good, dude's a monster. He does push-ups on exercise balls. So he stabilizes his core and still does push-ups. Like, I can't even sit on a medicine ball, let alone do push-ups. Like, dude's a freak of nature. And, they are insanely good when they have Brown, Jones, and Derrick in the same game. They're insanely good. I think the Titans win this game, right? Like, Joe Burrow's had a nice little run. They've had a nice game. They're gonna have their time. Like, sucks to be a Cleveland Browns fan, right? Or a Steelers fan or a Ravens fan, because you're gonna have to play the Bengals twice a year. For the next 10 years, that's a problem. But not this year. They finally won a playoff game, got that off their snide. I think that the Titans are a better team all around. I just don't, I see them winning.
I mean, I guess I look at, if you go position by position, though, I mean, if we're being honest, quarterback, who would you rather have? Burrow or Tannehill?
Depends, man. I mean, if I'm starting a team, it's Burrow, right? But like, if I have a team that's well-rounded, like, Tannehill's not bad.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I'd rather have Burrow. I mean, if Julio Jones was like, 3 years younger or 4 years younger, maybe I say something different, but I think the Bengals receiving core is better. And then you look at the running backs, obviously Derrick Henry's better than Mixon, but I'd say it's like, Burrow and Tannehill. It's like, yeah, one's better, but the other one's no slouch. Right.
So here's something for you. This is how good Derrick Henry is. He played half the games and still had the 14th highest running back fantasy points. That's insane.
Yeah.
He played half the games. If he played a full season, it's not even close.
Right.
Even Jonathan Taylor, not close. He's that good, right? And Joe Mixon's not bad. Like, he's third highest, but like, he's well behind Jonathan Taylor, who finished first. So like, he's not bad. I'm not saying that at all. Like, going to prep it already for next year for fantasy football. Joe Mixon's high on the running back board. He just is.
Right. Well, I know, I get that. But the other thing I would say to that is the Titans are more likely to run with Henry than the Bengals are to rely solely on Mixon. Right. Like, we're not exactly comparing like the same offenses. Like,
so if the Titans can take away Jamar Chase, is Joe Burrow as effective?
Yeah, because he still has Higgins and Boyd.
Okay.
Like, Joe Burrow was doing well last year until he got injured. Their problem last year was the offensive line, which they upgraded.
Yeah.
And they didn't have Jamar Chase last year. Like, they have three, like, that's the thing. They have three legit receivers. I mean, if the worst receiver on your team is, what would you say, Higgins, possibly? I guess if I had to say one of them's the worst, it would be Higgins. You're doing all right for yourself,
Yeah.
And not again, I'm not trying to say Mixon is Derrick Henry. It's nothing like that. But if he's playing on a different team that doesn't have three all-world receivers, maybe he gets some more of those yards. And maybe it's not as big as a discrepancy between him and Taylor. But yeah, Henry's still better. Obviously, my only thing would be, what's Derrick Henry gonna look like? Because he is coming off an injury, and a pretty severe one at that.
I mean, I see your point. I just think that I just think the Titans win the game.
Because the other thing, when you've missed as much time as Henry has, because it was what, like week 8 or 9 that he went down.
Week 8, he played 8 games.
So we're looking at, that means he missed, almost 2.5 months worth of football. We don't know, he's cleared, but I'll tell you this, like as a runner, the first thing to go, like he's going to be strong, nothing like that. But the first thing to go is the stamina, right? Like that you have to work on every day. And so now maybe a 50-yard gain is now only a 40-yard or a 30, a 35-yard. And if that happens enough times, and I'm using long yardage to make a point, but if that happens enough times, that can swing a game. That's what would have been a touchdown in week 8 is now on the 10-yard line, and hey, that's 10 more yards you got to go, and anything can happen. You give yourself another down. So
at that point, in my mind, it becomes coaching. Who's the better coach?
That I don't know.
Mike Vrabel.
I will say, shoot, and now as we're talking about coaching, I'm saying I don't know. I can't. Zach Taylor. There we go. I will say, if there is an award out there for coach who looks most likely to be a fan of his football team, Zach Taylor wins that trophy. That's the one nod I will give to Zach Taylor. He looks like he would be a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Okay. I mean, it's got to be Mike Vrabel. It's got to be, right? Like he's been a very under the radar head coach, right? Like he should be in the discussion for coach of the year perennially. And he also has Super Bowl playoff pedigree. You know what I mean? Like as a player, like I think he's going to be able to prepare this team better to win the game.
How long has Vrabel been the coach in Tennessee?
That's a good question. I want to say like 4 or 5 years.
And they've made the playoffs probably what, like I'd say at least 3 of those years.
Yeah. They have the number 6 defense as well. The Bengals have the number 17.
I still see the Bengals one. I just think there's too much.
Well, you picked them to go to the Super Bowl, so you kind of got to pick them.
I gotta stick with them. I'm going for the Liesel Carry Bowl. That's what I'm hoping for.
How long has he been the head coach? Since 2018, he's been their head coach.
So they made the playoffs obviously this year. They made it last year. Did they make it in 2019?
Look it up right now. It's 2-2 in the postseason. Coaching. They 3 years in a row. They lost to Kansas City in the championship game. They lost to the Ravens in the AFC wild card. And they're going in this year. They were the number 1 seed last year. Number 1 seed again this year.
So he got hired in 18. They did make it in 18, but then he's made it the last 3 years.
Yeah, so 3 out of 4 years coaching.
That's not bad.
You got to stick with your pick because you picked them, right? But you're second guessing it. I can see it.
It was a lot more sure of a thing when Derrick Henry was sitting on the sideline still. We'll put it that way.
I mean, and I agree with that, right? And I agree with everything you said about like Henry's coming back. What kind of game shape is he going to be in? I don't know how long he's been working out. Like how long has he been, running? Like I know he's been patched for about a week, maybe 2, right? But like how long has he been running at full speed? That's my question, right? Because you can get stamina by running on a treadmill all day long.
Right.
Sure you're not taking the hits, but maybe that's better for him. Maybe he's actually fresher, which would be scary.
That's the other thing, right? I mean, if stamina and running's not the issue, right, then you're basically getting like first game of the year Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Derrick Henry's too big of a question mark to ignore. And yeah, I picked the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna stick with that. So that would set up what? That would set up Bengals at Bills, and well, we didn't agree on the Rams Bucks, so but I think we agree on the Packers. So the only two games we both agree on the Bills and the Packers, and then we disagree on the Bengals, Titans, and Rams Bucks. It's kind of where we're sitting at.
Yeah. Let's go to BetMGM, Hollywood Casino. Let's $5. Where do I have $5 from? I win a bet.
Well, there you go. It's like Hanukkah. It's so good you don't even know when you're winning. It just happens so much you forget about it. It's like finding $20 in your winter coat pocket, like after the summer or something.
Yeah. Let's go football. Let's go NFL. I've already downloaded that, dumbasses. So who'd we pick?
We picked for sure. We picked the Packers and the Bills, and then you picked the Bucks and the Titans. I picked the Bengals and the Rams.
If I put $5 on my parlay, I win $69.35.
You put $5 on my parlay, what would you win? Because that would tell you what biggest things.
Bengals over. Let's go money line. So we picked the Bills and the Bucks, and you picked.
I picked the Rams.
Oh, you picked the Rams.
Yeah, if we're going my picks, I got Bengals, Rams, Bills, Packers. Man, I picked 3 away teams.
So $5 on the money line wins $83.90.
Okay, so Vegas agrees with your picks more and agrees with mine.
No, because I wasn't on the money line.
Oh.
Let me go Bengals. Oh yeah. 36.50. So yeah.
Because you're essentially picking 3 home teams. I'm picking 3 away teams.
I'm only picking one dog.
Yeah.
You're picking
3.
3.
But the dogs I'm picking, none of them are none of them even are given the full 3 for playing away,
Yeah.
So well, anyway, it sounds like you got a full house back there, my friend.
No, they're just chilling.
That's chilling.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's process. I don't even understand. So I'm going to place that bet.
You're going to pick your teams?
Yeah.
So, well, hey, if you win, I mean, that's a producer for a year, right?
Sure.
Well, I'll get the help wanted ad up on Indeed.
All right. I need it to be a little bit more lucrative, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lisa looks offended. Were you serious about the producer thing? We can make that happen. We'll figure it out.
The rates are negotiable.
Liesl's rates are negotiable.
Let's see. All right, man. Let's see what happens here. I was hoping Andy would have clocked in.
Yeah. Well, next week, my Tampa friend, Robbie said he can do it next week. So maybe we'll be a little more loaded for the conference championships.
All right.
All right, my friend. I will get this up and yeah, enjoy your football. I'll see you next week.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
Later.
Go Army.
We'll see.